So you remember the Dutch, right? You remember the Dutch. We haven't been, hasn't been too long since the Dutch. Well, you remember that I said that we weren't exactly looking for the same thing. I wanted, I was open to a relationship. At that stage in my life, I was very much looking for the Hollywood version of the relationship. Oh, and I got it. Oh, I got it. The Dutch, in spite of me knowing fairly quickly, let's say a couple of months, that we weren't looking for the same thing. I am just a genius. And somehow I managed to stretch this out. Whew, years, years, years. Oh, the Dutch. I called him, I called him my heroine, sometimes my kryptonite. It just became this thing that gave me this crazy stimulus of something that I wanted but wasn't available. But what I got were just crumbs, but those crumbs tasted so good. That was amazing and it was worth it. It was nonsense. It was nonsense. When I finally got over the thing, over the situation, the thing as if you were an object, but over my need for this adrenaline sucking Hollywood movie drama, I realized, oh, he was not right for me. He was very clear from the beginning what he was very clear from the beginning what he was offering, but I was not willing to listen. I was not, I wasn't believing what he's saying. I was like, I can convince him. This face, this charm, I can certainly convince him. You can see some of my patterns, right? I can certainly convince him. No, I didn't manage to convince him. I just ended up in therapy for a year, crying my heart out. And I remember when I had the conversation with him of, I cannot see you anymore. I asked him to meet me, send him a message. Hey, can we meet at this Barnes and Noble's 6 o'clock? It's Friday or Saturday. He comes to Barnes and Noble. I have the conversation. I tell him, I'm so sorry. I love you so much. So much. I'm crazy about you. Crazy about you. But I want more. I want more, and you don't. And this is not doing me any good. So I can't see you anymore. I won't call. I'm sorry. And I wanted to tell you in person. And that too was really hard. It was really hard to leave my drug. It was really hard to leave this toxic cycle of ups and downs, this roller coaster of emotions. We get addicted, totally addicted to this nonsense. And in the process, I don't like to say we waste time. I did learn a great deal about myself in that process. And there were some things that were really marvelous about him and in which he was really gracious. But he never was actually offering what I wanted. I was just stuck there. Stuck there. And I don't want you to get stuck in places that you're not, what you're offering isn't really valued. We all deserve to be valued. Obviously, because we value ourselves, I was able to cut off with him when I started valuing me more and what I needed and what I was actually giving me myself, and that he wasn't able to reciprocate. And there are spaces in life, there are communities around us in which what we're giving to someone that isn't valuing it, they don't see it, they don't need it, they haven't asked for it, can actually be a gift, can be a wonderful gift. We simply have to look for these places, look and find them and sense it out and be true to ourselves. But let's not get stuck. and that drama and those roller coasters, and it's painful. That drama seems exhilarating when you're there, but when you're out of there, it just hurts because your stomach's been in knots the whole time. You've been upside down for 3 months. You haven't slept well in God knows how long. Oh, that's not love. That's not love. That's not what we want. That's not a relationship. That's no place to build anything on. Even if that conversation at Barnes and Noble had gone differently and he said, "Oh, I'm willing," that would have been a mistake. It would have been a mistake for me to try to build something based on years I had at that time with him, in which clearly, is it now you want something different because I'm about to leave? No, you didn't want anything different. Now you're just afraid of losing your toy. So I'm actually really grateful to him because he was really clear on what he wanted. Today, as we close this week of reaching out, expanding our network, going to that playground and seeing what's out there, I want to close with a little good old-fashioned common sense. I've talked to some philosophers, like doctorates of philosophy. Literally, they teach at university philosophy, not just someone with a PhD, which is also a doctorate in philosophy. And they are mixed in their reviews on whether or not common sense exists. Most do think it exists, but common people tend to think, well, common sense, it exists. Let's use some common sense. We simply don't want to tap into it because it's not comfortable, because we don't think that everyone's going to see it the same way. Obviously, there are cultural differences. What might be common sense in Sri Lanka might not be common sense in Alaska. It just might not. However, if you go away from the cultural level and just the basic human level, there are some basics that we shall call common sense. So I want to help you establish some common sense rules for dating to survive the playground/jungle that is dating. Just going to read these off to seep into our neurons, our minds, and to remind us of what it is that we actually want in this process. Rule number 1, believe people. Believe people. Yeah, just believe people. I should have believed the Dutch when he said, "I'm not looking for anything serious." He was very clear, and I did not believe him because I thought I could convince him otherwise. So believe people. By doing that, to do that, and to be a good judge of what people are saying to you in case that there are some incongruencies because they haven't done all that work, that we hope you encounter people who have done that work, who have gone through this course and who are doing that work. Obviously, believe what they are saying to you, but counterbalance it with what are they doing? What are they doing? Actions usually trump words. Actions do trump words. So if they're saying something but they're doing something different, believe their actions. But believe people. Believe people. Unless you are unfortunate enough to come across a psychopath, you can believe most people. And psychopathy is actually really low in society, so don't worry. Just believe people. Take what they're saying to you as their truth and take that for what it's worth. And you can go from there. Self-management. We must do that work of owning our emotions, managing them, and try to keep ourselves as grounded as possible. There's no other way. The playground is really exciting. The swings, oh my, the swings. Or do you prefer the slides? It's really exciting, and you are going to go through a lot of different emotions. A lot of things will happen in that. And every playmate that you come across is going to have a different pace of how they like to play. And until you both can communicate at the same level in terms of your rules of your game, there will be a lot of self-management of your peaks and your lows and just keeping your cool and keeping yourself grounded into something that's actually good and true for you. Self-management. Remember, we must do that. Prioritization. Prioritization goes back to what we spoke at the beginning, this idea of priorities and order. Men and women see this differently. This is real. This is real. My male friends who are 50 and they're single and divorced or widowed or whatever the case might be, they're single and they're actively looking for a partnership. Love is never the first thing on their list. It's never been the first thing on their list. For that to happen, time will pass. The things on their list will still be work and family before romance. Be cognizant of that. Be cognizant that he hasn't lost his mind as quickly as you have about your new romance. He might later, at his own pace, with his own way, but not necessarily at the beginning. This is really important for us ladies to keep the self-management in check. For us to keep ourselves in check in terms of our priorities shouldn't change overnight because we think we met someone or we're meeting someone or we're getting to know someone and it looks exciting and promising. Keep your priorities. It doesn't mean you don't invest time in this person, but all things in time, all things in time. 4, order. Order. Some friends of mine think I'm a neat freak or OCD. Some, most don't, because I'm not. But I do believe in order. I do believe in feng shui, the order of things and the flow of energies and the function of how you place things. And the same happens with our lives. We need to create order in order to actually make space for someone. It is absurd for me to say I want a partner, but I am working 80 hours a week, my family's far away, and I can barely go to the gym. Where am I going to fit someone else into my life? That's absurd and it's not logical and it's not being realistic with the circumstances of my life. Thus, we must create order in our lives first before we can welcome a new someone into it or to play with the idea of welcoming someone into it. Let's create order. Expectations. Expectations. Oh, they're so tough. They're so tough. To make them easier, start with the end in mind. This will end. It will end. I'm sorry. I am the bad news bear. I am the bad news bear. It will end. For whatever reason, it will end. Guaranteed. What do you want me to sign? I'll sign. It's guaranteed. Start with the end in mind. I don't care if it's the love of your life. It will end. So start with the end in mind. What do you want to leave behind? What aroma do you want them to stay with when it's over? Was it 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 years, 30 years? It will end. Start with the end in mind. That'll help you set expectations. Logic. Somehow logic goes out the window. We forget it. We make these phantasmagorical ideas as to why they didn't call. And now, all hell is breaking loose. We just go crazy. We basically go crazy. Let's be logical. Oftentimes, more often than not, real life is crazier than fiction. Just apply a little logic to keep your head balanced, to assume the best of a situation versus just going crazy with ideas as to what someone's doing or not doing or why they're not calling, and if we're doing good self-management, if we're owning things, we're meeting adults, preferably, so you won't have these random odd things that happen, or maybe less so than we normally would encounter. And lastly, trial and error. Trial and error. If I would have, thrown in the towel with the Dutch, I would not have had the stories I've had after him. So take this as a learning adventure, take this as a journey, take this as an experience, take this as a way to enlarge your circle, take this as a means to enrich your network and to enrich someone else's life, for as brief as it might be. Just take it as that, as a moment in time of trial and error, of I'm learning, I'm sharing, I'm enlarging, I'm growing. That if without this person, it would have been impossible. And remember, whatever happens, however it happens, or for whatever means you exit, it's trial and error, and you decide this person is not going to be a part of my life, exit graciously and respectfully, please. Graciously and respectfully. There's no need to send anyone into therapy, and I'm not saying that about the Dutch, that was my work. There's no need to send anyone to therapy because we say some horrible, harsh thing. Just exit graciously and respectfully. Thank you so much for whatever you taught me. People are always teaching us something. They are mirrors of us. So thank you and goodbye. There's no problem with that. See you tomorrow.